Welcome to the Jamal Bryant Podcast. Let's be clear. Today is going to be a riveting, engaging, and a compelling conversation that you don't want to miss. We are right in the heartbeat of transformation in America. There's a lot at stake, and there's a lot on the line. Today, I've got a guest who is a dear friend. We've got so much in common and so much that is not in common. We're both preachers, we're both fathers, we're both public figures. And that's probably the end of our commonality. Outside of that, our political ideology is a little bit different, but our heart for God beats the same. I'm glad to have an amazing friend of now 20 years, Pastor Mark Burns. He is probably the most outspoken and the most visible supporter of former President Donald Trump, who is a Black preacher. He's come in today from South Carolina to sit with me. And I am so grateful. Pastor Burns, welcome.
Happy to be here, Dr. Bryant.
Listen, we've come through many dangers, toils, and snares.
Yes, we have.
All right, let's just jump right in. I got to ask you just to set the template for today.
That is your fault that I'm here today.
Yes, I'm grateful. I take all of the blame, and in an hour, I'm going to take all the credit. I want you to tell me, in your eyes, your mind, I'm going to make you a historian today.
Okay.
So today, tell me your perspective on January 6th.
January 6th. Well, Dr. Bryant, I was there.
I did not.
I was actually one of the speakers that was
I
there.
did not know that.
I was actually listed as the first 50 people that the January 6th committee listed on their investigative list, because I gave a speech that said, "Give me liberty or give me death." And because of that, they added my name to be one of the first 40 to be investigated because of my participation. So yes, my brother, I was there.
So you're cleared.
I'm cleared.
Okay.
Because ain't nobody busting through the door today. No FBI showing up today. No, I'm cleared because, again, I was there. I was at ground zero. I was in the hall. I was in the hotel with Roger Stone, the same hotel. They called our room the war room. All of this fictitious things. So any account that I give you is a first-hand account. Right. I was there when they escorted us out the room in the golf cart. My chief of staff was, my sister-in-law was with me when they put us in the golf cart and they ushered us out of the city because apparently there was some chaos that was taking place. Now, keep in mind, the Willard Hotel was the headquartered hotel where myself, Rudy Giuliani, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, all of the characters that they have listed as the quote unquote conspirators of this so-called insurrection.
Yes.
And so
you don't call it an insurrection.
Well, I think, no, it's not insurrection.
What would you call it?
I think it was a group of rowdy people who felt that their voices were unheard. Matter of fact, Dr. King said that the language of the unheard is rioting.
So you think it's a riot?
I do believe that what happened was unconstitutional. I 100%.
Well, you believe what was unconstitutional?
The storming of the Capitol.
You thought it was unconstitutional?
100%.
Wonderful.
Yeah, of course.
So listen, let's shake hands. This may be a different conversation than I thought.
But who would think that going against, again, you're a historian.
Yes.
I'm a historian. The only time that the Capitol was sacked was against our enemies, the British.
Yes.
And they burnt it down to the ground. And so it is not an ideal desire that we take authority by any physical violence whatsoever.
What would you say then to those Congress people who were cowering in the auditorium, saying that they were fearful for their lives, of representatives that were calling their loved ones, saying they weren't sure whether they were going to make it? You had people who were standing in the Speaker of the House's chair, police officer that found himself gasping out of oxygen. You called me a couple of years ago, and you said to me, Jamal, this is your hour, your moment, your call. You need to be leading the Black Lives Matter moment. Yeah. That's what you said to me.
Yeah.
Tell me how you think that the discourse and history would have been different if this same outcry of those who are oppressed Was Black Lives Matter at the Capitol? What do you think would have been different?
Well, I think we've already seen an example of it in the great state of Tennessee when they sacked the Capitol Hall. And we had, in protest of two Black state legislators who were disbanded, who were later reinstalled into the Capitol. I think we've already seen it, my brother. I think that they did the same thing. I think you also seen it with the LGBT community when they also sacked or led an insurrection against the will of the enforcement of the state capitol. Nothing drastic happened.
Yeah.
I think, now, let me be clear. I'm not one of those Black men who think that racism doesn't exist in America. And I'm not one of those Black men. I'm very on record to declare that there is still a two-tiered justice system. We're looking at it right now, the life of Donald Trump, and I've said it 1,000 times. For the first time, he knows what it feels like to be a Black man in America, because what is happening to him with this two-tiered justice system, because he is Donald Trump, it's been happening to Black men for 400 years in America.
The only difference, Mark, is that with 86 indictments, a Black man wouldn't be able to run for dog catcher.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
There's a third tier.
Yes.
We're not foolish to believe that.
Can you imagine Barack Obama having to pay a woman scores of $83 million? He would be completely obliterated from the political system. And so for him to say that he identifies as a Black man may be a little bit of a stretch.
First of all, no, I'm saying that.
Because, even you realize, Tim Scott said just the other day that America doesn't even care about the indictments. They don't even care that he's got to pay. This is just our fearless leader. I don't know if a Black man would be able to boast that same testimony.
Without question, without a doubt. I mean, again, I'm not saying that he is a Black man.
Yes.
I'm saying that he understands what it feels like regarding the two-tiered justice system amongst Black men. And that is true. I do believe that that's the case. Now, I'm not saying that he has the same, because again, if it was you and I in that same boat, we would, or really not just you and I.
Yes.
Anybody else,
that
if they were in his shoes would not be still the number one contender for the Republican nomination, and by all accounts beat Joe Biden in a one-on-one head race, most likely will be the 47th president of the United States of America, according to the latest polls that exist, if the elections were held today.
Yeah, well, it's not today. We got a long road to November. We got a very long road to November.
Okay.
Just very recently, Tim Scott came out of the presidential race and pledged his undying love to Donald Trump. It made a lot of people in the Black community cringe.
Sure.
But the reality is that I have to admit, even with the likes of Rick Ross, famed entrepreneur, rapper, businessman, yourself, Tim Scott, there's a growing number of Black men,
Snoop Dogg,
who are supporting Donald Trump. I want you to unpack for me, because I can't figure it out.
Sure.
Explain to me, what is the allure for Black men to push, support, and even vote for Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, we see it in the polls, Dr. Bryant. Again, this, number one, the two-tier injustice system that is happening to this man unjustly, Black men are identifying it in high numbers. They see in themselves a version of themselves in Donald Trump, and how the injustice system is working for a billionaire who was the former president of the United States of America, still having to jump through these, how the system can be used against somebody simply because you don't like them for whatever reason, whether it be the color of their skin or you just don't like them because they're Donald J. Trump. Number two, Black men are seeing that Donald Trump's economical policies are significant for because we are the providers of our families. I mean, we should be the providers of our families, and Black men, entrepreneurs, Black businesses are seeing that the policies of President Donald Trump is effective and more conducive to what we're trying to do within our own lives. And so you're seeing a large a growing fluctuation of Black men supporting Donald Trump. You're seeing a growing fluctuation of African-American men saying, you know what, I'm gonna give Donald Trump a try, because the Biden administration and the Democratic policies are not affecting my lifestyle. They're not affecting my bottom line. And so when you see President Trump, when he was in office, signing the criminal justice reform bill, which was a bipartisan bill, when you see President Trump giving money back to the HBCUs, creating a permanent office within the White House, a permanent position, a liaison position within the White House, so that HBCUs can have a direct connect with the White House that did not exist before. When you see the opportunity zones that are simply giving tax credit to businesses like yourself and myself to go inside impoverished communities, a lot of those communities are Black communities, our communities, and giving businesses great tax credits to create jobs within those communities. Black men are saying, you know what, I'm giving this guy a try, because the old ploy of the Democratic Party. Again, I was a Democrat for my whole life until 8 years ago. And again, there was a time where the Democratic Party really spoke to the African-American community. It has been hijacked by the LGBT community. And that's a whole nother matter, because that's a conversation that I'm very baffled of. We, as the believers and the Christians and the pastors and the leaders of the Lord Jesus Christ, already know that it is illegal spiritually to be a homosexual, but yet we embrace it as though that it is legal. God never created anything, or God never created anyone to be anything that he already deemed to be unlawful. He never did. Pete Buttigieg said that God, my creator, made me this way. But yet it has been hijacked by the civil rights movement, have been hijacked by the LGBTQ community. So for me, you're seeing Black men saying, I'm tired of being emasculated by this movement. No, we're not queer. No, we're not. We are strong Black men. Yes, we have come up through the ages, and they're identifying that with a Donald Trump.